So welcome back to the budget project. It is time for us to calculate the gas for our new car that we just purchased. So you thought you can just hop in that car, twist the key and go? No, you got to pay for that gasoline. So we're going to go through this. The very first thing you need to do for the gas portion, you need to Google Mercedes-Benz Stadium in downtown Atlanta. Now, for the sake of the project, this is where everybody is physically going to report to work. So whether you're a teacher, a police officer, firefighter, whatever it is that your occupation is, for the sake of the project, everybody's physical address that they work at is going to be Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So make sure you Google the address to Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And once you do that, once you have the address for Mercedes-Benz Stadium, you are then going to go to either Google Maps or MapQuest or some kind of mapping platform, and you are going to input the distance from Mercedes-Benz Stadium to your apartment. So for example, I am going to put Mercedes-Benz Stadium to South Gwinnett High School. Now, for this particular example, my miles from home to work is going to be 37.4 miles. That's how far South Gwinnett High School is from Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So one way, 37.4 miles. Now my next blank says round trip. All I'm going to do is double that number. So it's going to go from 37.4 miles to 74.8 miles. So that is to work and back home. Going to work and back home. We are going to make this trip 5 times. We're going to assume that we have a 5-day work week. So I'm going to multiply that number, 74.8. And remember, this is just my example. Do not use this because these numbers are relative to South Gwinnett High School. So 74.8 miles times 5. And I'm multiplying times 5 because we're going to work 5 times per week. Monday through Friday. We have to make this drive to work and back home. So 74.8 miles for round trip. When I multiply times 5, that gives me 374 miles for the week. Now that is going to work and back home for the week. But realistically, we do other things. We go to the grocery store. We go over somebody's house. We got to take the kids to, daycare. We got to go take them to play basketball. We just have to go, right? We got to go shopping. We got to go different places. So for the sake of that, or to adjust for that rather, we are going to add 100 miles to that week number in order to account for our getting around miles, right? So once we add that 100 miles, that puts me from 374 to 474 for the week. That's 474 miles per week. Now, I am going to do this for 4 weeks, right? 4 weeks in 1 month. Now, one thing we didn't account for is the weekends. We still drive during the weekends. So this is why we're going to do this next portion. Once you get your miles per week with your 100 miles of getting around included in this number, you are then going to multiply by 4.3. Once you multiply by 4.3, for my example, that's going to give me 2,038.2 miles per month. So now I know how many miles I'm going to drive per month. That's a big kicker here. So once you get that number, you're almost halfway there. So the next thing you need to do, you need to pay close attention to this. You are going to Google your car that you purchased. So if you remember my last video, the car that I purchased, and it was quite a doozy. I couldn't afford it in real life. I can't afford it, not with everything else that I have to pay. But if you recall, I used the 2021 Cadillac Escalade. So for that example, I'm going to use that for this gas purpose. I'm going to Google my 2021 Cadillac Escalade city miles, and that is going to give me 15 miles. That is what it says that it gets. That Cadillac gets 15 miles per gallon. right? So with that being said, I am then going to take that number, my city miles, and I'm going to divide it into my monthly miles, which is in my case 2038.2. So once I divide 15 into that, that gives me 135.88. Now remember, when you divided, your miles canceled out, and that leaves you with the unit of gallons per month. So that 135.88 is my gallons per month. That's how many gallons of gas I'm going to need for the entire month. Now, once I get to that portion of this, all I'm going to do is multiply that times the price of a gallon of gas. In this case, for the project, it was $2.64. So I'm going to multiply $2.64 times 135.88. And when I do that, I get 358.72. So that is going to be my total cost of gasoline. Now, you have to accommodate or adjust for parking. If you recall, during class, I gave you the amount that it's going to cost you per month to park. That number is $50 per month. So I'm going to add $50 to my number. And for my example, that is going to put me at a grand total of $408.72. Now that would be my transportation cost for the entire month. So with that being said, the things you need to include in here, you need to include your calculations as well as a picture of you looking up your city miles, right? Some of you might already have your city miles listed on your picture for the automobile section. So if you have that, make sure you highlight your city miles. And I hope this helps you for your gasoline portion of this. Remember, budget project due Friday, the 20th, November 20th. Make sure you are proactive and making progress. Until next time, peace.